Welcome to the 10th season of The Author's Corner. Each show is jam-packed with interviews, reviews, and so much more for you, the author and the artist. And now, here's our host, author H.D. Campbell.
Welcome to a brand new episode of The Author's Corner, Tuesday edition. And as always, in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to a brand new episode of The Author's Corner, Tuesday edition. As always, I'm your host, H.D. Campbell. Due to technical difficulties, today's show will air on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. But now that we have everything back together, you'll see an all-new episode coming next Monday with a brand new special, a Black Science Fiction author special coming the week after. Now, for today's show, we have two very wonderful authors. First, we have author Dakari, who's written the Gorilla series, which is an awesome series. You get to know him as a person as well as his books. Second, we also have Latrice Carter. Latrice Carter has Sister Place magazine. She has a book called Deceitful Secrets. She is a very wonderful, empowering woman, and you get to know her as well. So without further ado, when we come back, we'll have author Dakari.
Have you been to our website, www.hdcampbell3.com lately? It's informative and it's highly interactive. Besides the personal blogs, the picture gallery, and a chance to learn about H.D. Campbell Productions, you can also buy books and check out H.D. Campbell services, all in one place. So log on to www.hdcampbell3.com, and when you're done, check out our media page at www.hdcampbellmedia.com. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Check out H.D. Campbell's media page at www.hdcampbellmedia.com. H.D. Campbell keeps up with the latest news through blogs written by him and other guest columnists. It follows the latest news in the communities of the world in all areas. It's also another place to catch back episodes of The Author's Corner with H.D. Campbell. It's the interactive media source that provides the facts without a lot of media fat surrounding it. With columns and articles daily, check out what H.D. Campbell will write about next. Log on to www.hdcampbellmedia.com for details. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit.
Welcome back to the show. Our first author is author Dakari. He's the author of the Gorilla series, which gives a very real depiction of street life based on the life that he led and people he knew. Today, we celebrate the release of his next book, which is book series The Tears of a Gangster, Inside These Walls. So we'll talk a little bit more about that and more. Here's the interview.
Well, ever since I was little, I enjoy creative writing and using the creative side of the brain. I've been writing short stories just for fun for a while. To actually start taking it serious, it was just more of a decision to see if I can actually do it or not.
What led you to publishing your first book?
Again, that was one of the ones just to see if I was able to do it, and it was more or less me pushing myself to see if it was possible.
Cool. How long have you been writing?
About 10 years now is when I very first started just trying to do a project. And I can actually say about 3 years since I've actually been taking it serious enough to say, okay, I'm going to try to be an author.
Cool. So I've been looking at your promotions, been looking at everything. Tell me about your book series.
Okay, the Gorillas in the Bay series is the first series that I put out. I have another one coming behind it, but the Gorillas in the Bay series, it's actually true fiction. It's a fictional story based on true events that happened in the Bay Area and the lives of people close to myself.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about each book that's in the series.
starts off with book one, Never Die, and it's actually the birth of an organization that was very known here in California. T. Rada, Jason Voorhees, and Tommy Guns come together to form the Never Die organization. And book one is basically, it tells the tale of the tragic tale of T. Rada's downfall and his submission to crack cocaine. But it also shows the upside of how he formed the organization. Book two, Clarkola and Voorhees. By the time Jason Voorhees was more like a brother to T. Rada than anything else, and is having a hard time dealing with the death of his homeboy. And so he decided to take it out on the police. At the same token, he turns over the day-to-day activities of running the organization to his oldest brother, Clarkola. And Clarkola inherits not only the throne and the reins of leadership, but he inherits a new beef that arises from the Young Nigga Mafia from Malone Jackson named Sultan, him and this up-and-coming organization. So you got a lot going on in book two. You got the war between Young Nigga Mafia. You got the war that Jason Voorhees has declared on the police department, as well as you have someone's new ambitions to being a part of leadership. And there's a lot of twists and turns in there because Sultan is actually the little brother of Sheba, which was Anne of the She-Wolves. And book three continues on with Jason Voorhees and his brother Batman with the war between that they declared on the police. But it starts to take on a new twist and a new mantra, and that's the self-consciousness and the conscious awareness of Black Lives Matter. The police has been, killing minorities, mainly blacks in the United States, left and right. And so it's to open up the reader's mind to what's really going on in the world, as well as what could possibly be. Now, by the time you get to book three, it's more on the fiction side than the true fiction, because a lot of this now is just opening your mind to the possibilities of what would happen if blacks came together instead of fighting each other and killing each other. What would happen if we all came together and stood up to the authorities that's been supposed to be severed to protect us, but who've been killing us? And look forward to the conclusion of all events. So in each book, it's a lot going on. There's a lot of twists, a lot of turns. I try to have multiple subjects that you can follow at the same time, as well as bringing many different characters to life. It was fun. It was interesting doing it.
Okay. Where do you draw? Where is the inspiration for this?
Well, see, as I said, if I didn't say it, excuse me, but every single character is real.
Right.
These are all real people that's walking around the Bay Area right now, or that has either gotten prison sentences from the things that were done. These are like a lot of the events, the main events that happen. You can Google and find them out. So it wasn't necessarily where to come up with the idea, because, like I said, the stories haven't actually happened. It was more or less like a challenge was, how can I tell the truth but do it in a fictional way, where those that have gotten away and that have not been caught by the law, how can I not get them in further trouble? You know what I'm saying? If those who are doing time right now because of the stuff that's happened, then how can I tell their story in a way where people can understand it and still further, they don't have to worry about new charges coming because I done ran my mouth.
How has your book been received by fans so far?
That's how I don't want to sound cliches, but that's the biggest surprise, right? Is the book is being reviewed and received so warmly, so open. Like I've yet to have one negative complaint about the books itself. I remember in book one, I got a point marked off for the punctuation of the book, right? I got a few editorial details were overlooked, but as a whole, everyone is just loving the book. And that was shockingly because, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like book one. When I first released it, when I first sent it to the publisher, I did, I think, 2 or 3 rewrites, and then I was going to scrap the whole project and just start anew. And I have a good, strong team behind me, Team Dakari, and the lead of Team Dakari, she wasn't having it. She wasn't trying to hear it. She said that she believed that it was something magical. And so in the end, I went with my team and what they thought, because as I say, I didn't like it. And then the hungriness is because I've always been the type of person, if I'm going to do something, I do it to the full extent. I don't do half or nothing. I have like an addictive personality. And so if I'm going to be in this field, then I want to be considered among the best. Then I have my team that's helping me a lot with promotions. Because it's hard getting up at the crack of dawn, trying to be on the social media sites program, advertising and promoting.
1 minute remaining.
As well as just trying to find time throughout the day, especially with me being incarcerated. But it's a fun experience. It really is, and it's insightful. It's very insightful.
Cool. See, like I say, you're just like me. I'm laughing at you because you're your own worst critic. Because I don't think no one really likes their first book at all, anyway. So as a writer, I can definitely relate to that. But you don't realize is what you don't like about it, other people do. So so it kind of forces you to keep it out there now.
Yeah, you have no choice. And then it's funny because, like I say, all these are real characters. I'm closer to Voorhees than I am to T. Ryder. But it was funny how everyone gravitated more to T. Ryder than they did to Voorhees. You know what I mean? Like most of my fans, they love T. Ryder. And I'm like, what about Voorhees? And everybody's forgetting about Jay Voorhees. And there's something else that's interesting that I picked up on since book one's been out. A lot of the readers, they don't want to be called fans. So I just call them my supporters and my readers. Right? But the reason why I mentioned that, like I say, there was a true story, right? So the true story basically told itself. However, I use a lot of the inputs from my readers and the supporters and into molding the book across. Like, the story was already there, but the input and criticism I got from the supporters dictated how I told the story once book one was out. So, because actually book two I wrote twice. I actually wrote book two twice, and that was because of the feedback I received from my supporters. I got some die-hard supporters, I tell you. If I get a chance right now, just to name a few,
Go ahead.
Tamara, Queen Helene, Jeannie, Jana Pinelli. Lord, I don't want to forget nobody because then they're going to get on me. But these been a lot of my biggest helpers and supporters from day one. And every chance I get, because I know I'm going to forget some on this interview or some on that one, but every chance I get, I will mention my main supporters, and just to show them how much I appreciate their help.
So, that's fine. Like I say, you can never forget those who, because I can never forget my readers, or my supporters either. So, no, that all goes with the territory, brother. Don't even worry about that. So,
Okay.
So what else have you been working on besides the Gorilla series?
Okay, now, HD, you're gonna have to bear with me on this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope the fans don't get mad. I got a quest to want to be known as the greatest author ever. And in order to do that, like James Patterson, he got this the suspense thriller on lock. Dean Koontz got the horror on lock.
Yes.
Anne Rice, she got the vampires. Everyone got their own genre that they stick to, but no one's dabbled in other genres a lot. So I plan on writing 5 books in every genre that I know of.
Nice.
And I say that because the Gorillas in the Bay, the next book after it is called Tears of a Gangster. and it's the Jason Voorhees story. It's to go tell that character story. And it's part one and part two. Part one just came out at the beginning of the month, and part two I just finished writing it. It should be out next month. And that is going to be the last time I write an urban novel for a while. I'm planning on writing every 4 books. I'll come back to urban. But I have a book called Dirtbag. It's a suspense thriller. It's just the story about a boy getting kidnapped by a dude with multiple personality disorders, and it tells the whole struggle of that. Then I got If It's Meant to Be is coming out. It's a romantic thriller. A young couple in love, or not a young couple. The young man, he's young, but he's dealing with a cougar, and they're in love. And she got an ex-husband, and he's psycho, and he's trying to stop it all.
Oh, I think I'm gonna like that one. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but now the challenging theme that I'm going for, I plan on writing 100 books, but all 100 will be related. And what I mean by that, the character in the book Dirtbag, the little boy, I'm kind of giving him a spoiler. Okay, I won't say who it is, but he's the son of one of the 2 main characters in the Gorillas in the Bay series. You see what I'm saying? And then on If It's Meant to Be, the main character, he's a nephew of French Tip from the She-Wolves. So all 100 books will coincide, but I plan on doing almost every genre that's out there, from love to romance to thriller to action to horror. I plan on writing in all of them. And just so I don't lose my first fans or my diehard fans, then every 3 to 4 books I will come back with a smashing urban street lit. But for the most part, you can't tell what's coming from me. Like, here's something, HD. I've been reading since 1994. I've yet to come across a comedy. So I have an idea for a comedy that I'm working on. It's called Fake It Till You Make It, The Adventures of Rudy Poo.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, nice.
So you never know what to expect coming from me. Only thing I can say is I'm going to give my 110% and trying to make it the best read possible. Because I don't read I don't write from a writer's perspective. I write from a reader's perspective. I've been reading 20-some years before I decided to write. So you got a lot coming from me.
Yeah.
With anything else, right, I'm just one part of the team. I've got 4 more books already completed. They're at different stages of being editing and coming out. I'm on a label right now. I'm Locked Down Publications. Shout out to Cash. And he's actually controls when I can release and when not. But Tears of a Gangster, as I say, it just came out a couple weeks ago, and part 2 is about to be turned in for the edit now. At the same token, as soon as I can get done with that, I have 3 more lined up. I have Dirtbag, If It's Meant to Be, and I got something for the ladies. It's called the BBO Club. All I can say about the BBO Club, right? The title, ladies, please forgive me, is Bad Bitches Only. It's for the Bad Bitches Only Club. But it's just the title.
Right.
I'm on some Mission Impossible, Jack Reacher type shit. Type stuff. And what I mean by that, the BBO Club, you got 7 ordinary women. One's a nurse, one's a doctor, one's a sugar plantation owner, one's a senator. They got normal lives that they live, but behind the scenes, they all went to a college where they joined the sorority, the Delta sorority, and these 7 behind the scenes got their hand in the secret society that controls the world. Almost how men, we got they got the Bones, you got the Illuminati, the Masons. You got all these secret societies that men join, or whatever. The BBO Club is a secret society of women that can control the world. And when the time comes and a reason permits, they get together and make some stuff happen. So I'm gonna have that for the ladies to see if I can, if they can really love me though.
That's what I'm talking about. So My next question is, where where do you see your writing in about a year from now?
Um, more advanced and more improved. I have small things that I don't know if the readers can tell. No one's kind of commented on, but challenges I have. I'm not a very talkative person in real life unless I really know you. You know what I mean? If you're part of my circle, then we laugh, we joke, we do it all. But for the most part, writing conversations in the books is hard for me because I'm not used to talking to people, so it doesn't flow naturally. I have a challenge with that. Um, Also, as I say, I want to try tackling different challenges that I see as far as myself in writing books. So, in 10 years from now, I can say hopefully I got about, I don't know, maybe 80 books out. But I don't want to ever get to the point where I'm writing books just to write them. I want every book that I write to be better than the last one that I just dropped for it. So hopefully in 10 years my name will be out there, and not just amongst the prison industries, not just amongst jails and institutions, and not just amongst the fans that I've acquired through the numerous book clubs, but actually through people enjoying the literature, enjoying the literary abilities and talents, and picking up and running with the titles. I do want to share something to all the authors out there, though, right? Um, the captain of the team, Dakari Butterfly. You know, she never wants me to throw her real name out there. She's shot, but Butterfly stumbled across something that I didn't know of. If you write your material in print instead, because I've always written in cursive, but if you write it in print real legibly, Google has a program that you can scan they take my 200 some pages that I write and scan them, and it converts my written paper over to print.
Are
And
you
because
serious?
before they've been typing my actual written papers, and that's been taking a long time. But now, like I give you an example, Tears of a Gangster, I just sent out. I want to say 2.5 weeks ago, and I received it back 3 days ago. I'm doing my rewrites now, so it saves a lot of time. It's an application through Google, and I don't know the name of it, but as I'm telling you, if y'all really dedicated out there for the fellow authors and writers, right? Y'all really dedicated. Look for it, and that program by Google will save you a lot of time.
Not writing. What else do you like to do?
Believe it or not, I'm reading. When I'm not writing, I'm reading. I read a lot. And I read darn near every genre you can think of, from romantic to my favorite is Western, believe it or not.
Cool.
I got a Louis L'Amour in there right now I'm reading.
No, you're not reading Louis L'Amour for real.
Man, I'm serious.
Oh, you're the man. You are the man. Go ahead.
I'm on Louis L'Amour, the wide open trail.
Yes.
Yeah, so I read almost every genre that's out there, as long as it's interesting, because I like the different skills that it takes to bring certain books together. And then because I tell you the story of the BBO Club I'm on, I'm writing it from a Mission Impossible Jack Reacher type point of view, because man, I got to give a spoiler alert. It takes place a year after this coronavirus 19, right? But some scientist that works for one of the think tanks has been contracted to take that virus and weaponize it to a controllable biological agent that they can use in the war.
1 minute remaining.
It just so happens he does, right? And now he's trying to sell it to the Russians, and somehow he comes up and he gets murdered. So his information is just out there. His formula is just out there. So, the bad guys, they're trying to get it. But the BBO Club solicited the sister from Kenya, and she's real good. I'm talking about the best on the fighting for it you can get. And she's chasing him down, trying to prevent him from getting his hands on it. So in order to make sure I stay in that train of thought. I read a lot of Jack Reacher and John Grisham.
Okay, awesome. Okay,
So also, I gotta let me know. Yeah, I'm a very good sketcher or artist. I draw a lot. So I do that a lot of times to meditate.
Awesome. So what kind of things do you draw?
I can draw anything I see.
And that was just part one of the interview. We're going to conclude next week when we talk more about how to get to know him, how to get his book, how to do a whole lot of things. So stay tuned for that. Now, when we come back, we're going to continue the ball rolling with Latrice Carter.
Just who is author H.D. Campbell? He's the multi-gene author who can take you on several trips at once. With H.D. Campbell, you can have a romance, you can track a killer, or even stop an international incident. For 30 years and still writing, H.D. Campbell will take you on trips you've never been before. Learn more about him by logging on to hdcampbell3.com or check him out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. Read his rewrites of How to Lose a Black Woman and Late Murder at 10 with a new title coming soon. And as always, let your writing fuel your spirit. Coming soon, the second printing of the Sergeant Wise Guy Chronicles, reintroducing you to a special agent, Sergeant Wise Guy, the government's top strategics and agent with a very sarcastic tongue. A former Ranger, he heads up a team of specialists taking care of missions too big or too messy or other agents don't want to handle. His first mission takes him to Paris, where a stolen Cold War nuclear warhead was discovered. While discovering the warhead's origin, a lost dead love resurfaces. Can Sergeant Wise Guy resolve both before the secret plans for the warhead is complete? Well, check out the second printing of the Sergeant Wise Guy Chronicles, coming soon.
Welcome back to the show. Our next author is Latrice Carter, founder of Sisters Place Magazine and Sisters Place Media. She also has a book called Deceitful Secrets. She has a whole, like me, she has books, she has a media company. She's doing a whole lot and has a lot more in the fire. So to learn more, here she is. Why don't we get started from the beginning? First, how are you doing today? Welcome to the office, Funny.
Thank you. I'm doing well. It's Monday.
All right. How's work?
Work is good. You know, I am an associate director of accounting, so doing my day job. So I have a team of 8 that I manage. So it can get pretty busy for me. So I manage to do that between, you know, being an author, then having my own magazine and everything, and my own media business on the side. So, hey, you know, is what we do. You work hard for stuff that you are very passionate about.
Exactly. What did you start off with?
I first started out blogging in 2016. That's when I first started. I've been writing since since middle school, but you know, I never really did anything with it. Just kind of continued to take classes, and then when I went off to college, I was a communication/journalism major, but I got pregnant my junior year of college, and my parents were like, writing is not going to take care of a baby. So another major. So I defaulted back to, you know, accounting, which is something that I did all through high school. So bookkeeping all through high school. So, and I just like, I'm a math person, I'm a numbers person. So it was very easy to jump into accounting, which is what I ended up graduating with my undergrad in accounting. And then I got my master's in accounting and financial management. So I have 2 masters. So I must love numbers.
Oh, that's just fine. That's fine. So what really got you into wanting to take writing seriously?
Well, like I said, I always write, and I've been writing since middle school, and I won a couple writing contests. And you know, when I was in college, my journalism and English professors, they were all pushing me to continue to stay in the writing program because they said I was really good. So, but as you know, like I said, life happened and I got pushed aside. So when my daughter went off to college, I was like, oh, you know what? I can actually start focusing on me, so finding my way back to myself. I continue to journal, but when you decide to, okay, let's do this. I took a bunch of webinars and workshops for writing. And finally they were like, you know what, just write the book. So I wrote the first book.
So let's talk about that book. Name your book is
Deceitful Secrets.
Tell me about that book.
Deceitful Secrets is a novella. It is a drama. It's a drama / love story. My main character, Taylor, she's married to a very wealthy young man who is also eye candy. And, he has a way of making his way around Chicago. My whole setting is in Chicago, of course, I live here. And he always gets in trouble. And so his big brother, Kelly, always comes to his rescue. But there's a secret that his brother doesn't know that goes on between his wife and Kelly. And of course, Kelly would do everything and anything to get that secret out. So, like I said, it's Deceitful Secrets.
So, and what inspired that book?
I actually dreamed that story, and I woke up out my sleep. I keep a journal next to my bed, and I woke up out my sleep, and I literally wrote the summary of the story down out of my sleep. I memorized from the dream, and that's what inspired that story. And it's a part of a series.
Okay. So, are there other books in the series out, or is that just the first?
That was the first, and I will be, I'm finishing up book 2 in that series called Truth and Lies, which picks up from the first one. There's a cliffhanger at the end of book 1.
Okay.
That leads you into book 2.
I would say now, from a writer's perspective, I understand because I write cliffhangers somewhat, but as a reader's perspective, I know you get a lot of fans who are like, okay, now, what's going on?
A lot of my fans, my readers are like trying to predict, the next book. They're predicting the reaction to the cliffhanger from book 1, and it's hilarious. But I can't wait for them to read book 2, because book 2 is it's gonna wow them. Because you always want the second book to be better than the first book.
Yes.
So yeah.
So, is this going to be an entire book series? Are you planning on stopping at some point? Are you planning on working on something else? How is this going to go with your writing?
Well, it all depends. For me, and I know some other authors, happens to them, my characters talk to me. And as long as my characters keep talking to me, I'll keep writing that series. I do have 2 more books in that series that I plan to finish, that I already have the titles for, based on everything that's happened in the second book. So we'll see. And then it also too with it depends on the demand from the fans. If I'm deciding to kill it after 3 more books, if the fans keep wanting more, of course, gotta bring more for that series. But I do plan on writing a couple other books, but they're not gonna be nonfiction. I'm taking like a different turn. I'll still write fiction too, so I kind of want to dabble in both genres.
Do you publish Sisters Place magazine?
Yes, I do. I am the founder. I am the founder of Sisters Place magazine. Sisters Place started out, like I said, it started out as a blog, as Sisters Place blog, and it went from being a Sisters Place blog to a Sisters Place online website. Online magazine. And then, it was always my dream to okay, every year I got to take it to the next level. And I wanted to make sure, I was like, okay, it's time. I kept saying, I'm going to do it. And so finally, about 2 years ago, actually 2 years ago today, I decided to launch a digital magazine using with Issue magazine, and then I stumbled onto MadCloud, and I was like, "Oh, MadCloud is better. I can go print." So it made the transition easy. So Sisters Place magazine interviews indie, national, and mainstream artists and community leaders, activists. We kind of address a lot of issues and things that are going on in our community, in the African American community, as well as giving some hope and inspiration at the same time. We give some entertainment, but our whole focus is to be a voice for others.
Okay. Jumping off the subject for a second, what do you see as one of our biggest challenges, one of our biggest problems that you want to see addressed?
For us, it's getting our stories out there, telling it our way. There's a lot of missing pieces as far as our history is concerned that's not out there. But then, helping our people understand, we have to support Black-owned businesses. We have to build up our community. That's really important. Because if you look at other communities, take, for example, the Jewish community, they reinvest in their community. They support their community. And that's something that I would love to see for the Black community. We have to get to that place where we're supporting us and we're reinvesting in us. At the same time, we're reaching back and we're teaching generations to come the same methodology to build generational wealth. And that's something that African American communities, we lack. So it's something that I really would love for us to do more of. And, I know we're not there yet. We have a long way to go.
I understand. Now I'm going to bring it down a little bit. What goal do you see for Sisters Magazine in the coming year?
Sisters Place magazine, I foresee that magazine growing. My dream is for it to grow as big as Essence magazine. That's it's my favorite magazine. We have a nice journey ahead of us, and I know we'll get there. But that's the goal, is to be able to feature more talent, especially indie authors, indie artists, and other community leaders on in our magazine, giving them a voice, because it's really hard for indie talent to get that spotlight.
Okay. Well, as part of Sisters Creative Media, you also have a blog talk radio show. Tell me a little bit about that show.
Well, the podcast show is left Blog Talk Radio and came over to another host that gives us a global voice instead of a limited distribution. So Sisters Place is really a spinoff of the magazine, because we interview indie artists, we interview some mainstream artists as well. We've had a Chicago hometown talent. What's his name? I just drew a blank. TK, his nickname is TK, but he is on Queen Sugar, and we've had the opportunity to interview a couple other directors from Queen Sugar on our Sisters Place podcast. So we've gotten, yes, I love that show. We've gotten indie artists, indie actors, but we've also gotten mainstream actors and directors on our platform too. So the podcast mainly gives them a voice, or gives them an opportunity to share their work and, shine the light on them, and as well as, give them an opportunity to tell us what they're working on, tell us about their projects. So we're a voice on our podcast. It's just an extension of Sisters Place magazine.
Yeah. I went ahead of myself. My next question is going to be, what made you decide you wanted to start a media company? The reason I'm asking to see, that's how I did it, writing and going into media, forming my own media company. How did you form your own?
Well, Sisters Creative Media was actually birthed from a freelance opportunity. I had the opportunity to work with the indie director here in Chicago named Christopher Nolan, and I was his creative media manager for a movie called Zodiac Signs, and that was a great opportunity. And I love doing what I was, what I did for him. That gave birth to Sisters Creative Media.
Yeah, I love that. So as a whole, I know I just asked this for the magazine, but how do you see Sister Space Media growing?
Well, Sisters Creative Media is actually the I guess you could say it's the parent company of Sisters Place podcast, magazine, and then the creative media manager. And what the creative media manager does, we help set up podcasts for various clients, small business, authors, speakers, what have you. We help them set up their podcasts and train them how to utilize that tool, because podcasting is really big. That's a really big way to grow your brand. We do branding services, as well as helping them getting exposure in the various media with our connections that we've developed over the last five years. So I have a list of my own contacts that I can help them get that immediate exposure. That's our digital services that we offer, as well as we also build websites for authors, for small businesses that don't have one. Because one of the things that we try to teach our clients is Facebook is not your business. Facebook is not your website. If Facebook is shut down tomorrow, guess what? All your content is gone. So that's where Sisters Creative Media comes in, and we're holding workshops, we're training, and we're teaching, as well as providing that service. Because you can't just do the service for a person. That person has to understand what they're doing and also understand what we're doing.
One thing I see you and I having a little bit of common as far as what we do for the authors. How do you deal with authors who won't help another author, or who won't help another, or people won't help another business because they feel their competition with there's no such thing, or you're intruding in my territory? How do you deal with that?
Well, we don't deal with selfishness. If you are a client that you're stuck on me and then we have to walk away from you, because we can't help you if you won't help yourself and you won't help others. Because you have to be willing to help other people, but you also have to be willing to take our help, because we have had difficult clients where they're like, no, I want to do it this way, and we're like, that's not the way it should be done. That is not the correct way, and you can't force anyone's hand. So what we do, we tell them, thank you for this opportunity, but we're going to pass. And it's okay. What I've learned, it's okay to say no to people who are stuck in their own way and feel like, oh, I'm competing with this person, I have to be above this person. And we're not competing. We're all doing the same thing.
Okay. And so, like I said, ultimately walk away.
Yeah, you have to.
I'll say it again.
I said you have to walk away. It's unnecessary stress. That's not necessary. And you're arguing with someone about, do this, do that. And it's like, why? So just, they'll find out the hard way like that. And eventually, and who knows, they may even come back to you.
Right. The energy you're wasting arguing with this person, there could be another 2 or 3 people that need your help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One person. So, yes, I truly understand. So my next question for you is, now that we're helping each other, we're doing everything for each other, and at what point do you see that they're ready to go on and help the next person?
Well, the only way I can tell that person is ready to go on to help another person is when they refer someone else to me. Because now you're sharing information. Some people, they feel like, oh, you're my best kept secret, and I'm gonna keep this to to themselves. How I know that they're ready is when they start sharing and recommending other authors or other small businesses our way.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. You brought up a good point in the interview, and I want to talk about this for a second. if Facebook is shut down tomorrow, because we do rely a lot on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Tell what do you tell people that will panic if Facebook is shut down tomorrow? What advice can you give for them who's just scared of social media shutting down?
Well, they need to buy their. I tell people you need to purchase your own website, your own domain. That way, you own that content on their website. It doesn't have to be a really big fancy website. It can be one, two, three tabs, or maybe even just one full page. But that's your domain. That's your content, and no one can take that from you. Social media, Facebook can shut down tomorrow. You have lost all your content, all of it. And where do you have it housed? On social media. You can create that on your own website and house it there. That way you own it. Because technically, all of your content that's on Facebook, you don't own it. Because Facebook can shut it down. And guess what? It's gone. Versus if you have your own website. And I think people are afraid that have a website is expensive. It does not cost that much to get a domain. A domain is what, $14.95 for a year. They give you even a discount if you do a 2-year purchase for a domain. You renew it every 2 years or you renew it every year. And then your website, you can get a WordPress website. WordPress is very popular. I love WordPress. Some people do Wix. I don't do Wix for various reasons because it's not a really mobile-friendly, responsive website tool. But it's not as expensive as people, and I think that all goes back to educating them, educating your clients, educating them, letting them know, hey, here's what this costs. It's not expensive. You spend more. You spend that in advertising on Facebook. You advertise on Facebook. So if you spend $25 in ads, you could have bought a domain.
I was published in '99. That was right before even MySpace became a thing, and so I was able to sell before I even warmed up to MySpace. Mm-hmm. So it is possible.
Oh yeah. They can do it. They just have to get out of that mindset. Or I have to, I don't need a website. You do need a website. You need something that's yours, that houses your content.
So my next question is, Superwoman, because you do a lot of things, do a lot of different things. When you're not doing your day job, when you're not running Sister Space Media, what do you like to do?
Oh my God, I like to listen to music. I like to sit and watch movies, and I sit, and I also like to shop. But we haven't been able to do any of that. We've been in the house. But yeah, I like to wind down and I watch. I'll binge Netflix. I'll watch some of my favorite shows because I record all my shows during the week. So that while I'm working, the weekend come, I have been doing more of me lately. Just sit back, watching movies, and I'll cut up and read some of my favorite books because I have a lot of books that I need to catch up on my reading. So I'm reading and writing.
So what do you like to read?
I like to read some of everything. I like to read mystery, thrillers. I love romance stories. I love drama. And then I also like reading nonfiction as well, some biographies in Black history. So I'm working on my family tree. And so I'm going to write my dad's story. So I'm doing a lot of research for Black history and looking at our ancestry tree and just kind of going back, gathering a lot of information, doing a lot of interviews for our elders. So that has been really intriguing that I bought more history books to read. So there's a lot of information. I'm very intrigued right now with our history.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. So is that the route you're going to go with writing nonfiction? You're going to write a lot about our history and for us to get to know our own histories?
Well, I'm writing about my family's history. Because I'm going to be writing about my family's history, as far as from a nonfiction perspective, and then I have some inspirational stories that I want to write as well. So those, of course, are nonfiction because I'm going to tackle relationships, tackle self-love, self-care, everything that I've been through this last year. I'll be writing about. So that's all coming from a very personal place, hoping to inspire others.
How can we get to know you? How can we buy your magazine? How can we buy your book? How can you not tease us with the next book that you don't have out already? Like, can we?
Hey, life happened. Hey, life happened, and some things had to be put on hold. So everyone can Sisters Place. They can find me on Twitter. They can follow Sisters Place on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have a Facebook page, Sisters Place, SISTAHSPLACE, Sisters Place. Southern Sister, that's the unique name spelling. Our magazine can be found on MagCloud. Type in Sisters Place. There's a link saved on our Facebook page as well as on our Twitter and on Instagram as well. You can purchase a print copy and it gets shipped directly to you from our digital distributor. Our podcast, we hold right now, we have 2 shows a month. It's on Saturdays. We're going to be having a Mother's Day special podcast this Saturday. Women of Sisters Place. We are going to be talking about our moms and sharing, why they inspired us, and just some little shout outs for our mothers for this very special Mother's Day weekend. So that's going to be this weekend. So you guys make sure you tune into that. You can also subscribe to my newsletter on Sisters Place. Myself as an author, I have an author's page on Facebook, author Latrice Carter, as well as you can go to the Deceitful Secrets website. That's the book series website, and you can actually order the book directly from there and read an excerpt of the first 2 chapters as well. I'm all on social media as well. Latrice Carter, author Latrice Carter on Twitter, and Facebook is author Latrice Carter. Instagram is just Latrice C, LETRISEC on Instagram. Yeah.
Beautiful. So the next question is, so this is the final part of the interview where I give you the last word. Any inspiration, any shout outs, anything you want to say, the floor is yours.
Okay. Everything that is going on right now with COVID-19, I strongly urge us to think about us as they reopen some of the states. Consider your health, consider your family's health. Don't be so quick to run out because what they say is safe and is not safe. Stay home and protect your family, protect yourself, love yourself. Let's be safe, let's stay healthy. We are a very high percentage of the cases, and we are not Superman, we're not Superwoman, and I need us to take care of us. We are all in this together, but it's time that we really stand up for our families and take care of us instead of rushing to get out of the house because you've been confined. Your life is more valuable, you and your family, than the people that are dictating the government, pretty much. But yeah, stay safe though.
Thank you so much for coming on the office, and I really appreciate you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
And to learn more, you can go to sistersplace.com. That's SISTAHSPLACE.com. The Sisters Place. To learn more about updates and everything. Or also to learn more about Latrice and Dakari, you can always go on my website at www.atcampbell3.com. Now, when we come back, we're going to have HD's final thought.
By Late Murder at 10 by H.D. Campbell. Former investigative reporter Mark Alexander thought his life hit a slump when a mass shooting results in the murder of a controversial news anchor. Can Mark get out of his head long enough to crack this case? Well, I'm not going to tell you. You'll have to get your own copy of Late Murder at 10 on Amazon.com and coming soon to your favorite bookstore.
Welcome back to the show. This is HC's 2 cents, and I've been thinking long and hard about this 2 cents, and I wanted to talk about book marketing beyond social media. I'm not knocking social media. Latrice Carter wasn't knocking on social media. None of us was knocking social media. But one thing about social media, as great as it is, you have to be prepared for if or when it does go away. Fortunately, I was blessed enough to be published before social media became a thing, way before MySpace. Which I'm truly blessed because it taught me how to market. It taught me to make phone calls. It taught me to build a website, things like that. Not knocking social media. Social media is awesome, and yes, you most definitely need it in order to stay focused on your marketing, and it does reach a lot of people. However, you must also, in order to really market, you must know how to work beyond social media. In other words, each element you use, you have to pretend like the other element isn't there. Calling bookstores, talking to people, setting up tents somewhere, calling churches and seeing if you can set up tents at their events, or setting up tents at someone else's events, or going to your local bookstore and setting up signings. It's all about doing so much in order to get yourself out there. However, with COVID-19, I'm advising you stick with social media right now, stick with your website, stick with online right now. Please do not try to get out. Please do not try to interact with people. If you can sell your books online, go right on ahead. I was just saying for beyond COVID-19, when this is all over, we can start talking again. So, that's the Author's Corner. Next week, we're going to have 2 very beautiful authors again. We're going to have the conclusion of our talk with author Dakari, and then we're also going to talk to Felicia Carter about marriage, how she saves hers, and how she can save yours. So, next week, peace, hair grease, and as always, let your writing fuel your spirit, and God bless.